track time is precious. When you go out, work on something, anything, lines, braking, shifting, and then every time you take a little more bite out to hone your craft. And that's what I've been doing, and that's why I think I've been excelling so good, is from the training I had from the bikes.
I had this girl at Import Alliance that got in. The first thing she said when she got in was like, I apologize, I'm a screamer. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh no.
All right, here we go.
But it costs $500 to take a family of 3 to a football game. We can go drifting all day.
See how you doing the pressure. Yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy.
Welcome back to the #1 Drift Podcast on YouTube, presented by Injuku Racing. My name is Dawson, and today we have
Kenneth Kearns.
Vance Kearns.
Hell yeah. If you don't know them, big Drift Indy guys.
Yes.
And up just a lot up north.
Yeah, well, we're
Local
from
tracks.
Pittsburgh area, so anywhere in a 5-hour radius, we've driven there.
Sick. All right, cool.
We go up to Wisconsin.
Yeah, we've been
12
in Wisconsin.
hours.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we've
Yeah.
traveled some distances, but
Yeah.
we stay pretty 5-6 hour range. It's comfortable.
Cool.
Anything longer than that, it's pretty miserable.
Fair enough. All right, well, before we get into it, of course, look below the video. Make sure that subscribe button is not still red. If it is, go ahead and click that and hit the bell notification while you're at it so you never miss an episode. Along with that, grab a shirt from 144. Link is in the description. We got some hats coming out too. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, we're at Drift Appalachia right now.
Yeah, stage 5, man. This is pretty wild.
#1 drift togue in America.
Oh, this is #1. I mean, obviously, we have some perpetrators, but this is it.
Absolutely. Well, you want to kind of give a rundown on who you guys are and how you are included in all this?
Yeah, actually, he's just my father. He's pretty much my wingman. He's helped me out from the beginning. From stage 1, we heard about it through the grapevines, through Drift Indy, and it was actually at the last volume for Street League last year. We were out at Corbin Arena down in Kentucky, correct? Yeah, it was Kentucky. And they were like, yeah, there's a road here. Do you guys want to try and drive it? And I was like, well, of course, you know.
Yeah.
And it kind of just stemmed into getting other invites. Showed how you could drive. You got to drive, smart. This isn't about getting too crazy, driving super aggressive. It's all about, #1 thing they say, it's a team effort. Like, we all got to keep it together. No one's here to win. You know? So it's been one heck of a ride from stage 1 to where we're at now. It's gotten way more organized. There's a lot cooler cars coming out. It's something very special, and
absolutely,
I can't thank them enough for having us.
Yeah, and we'll get into more of that
Yeah.
later in the episode and stuff too. But you wanna give a rundown on yourself?
I'm Vance's dad. He's me, raised by me. And one thing is we've always just seemed to have fun, no matter what we were doing, from him in his diaper with his little bubble lawnmower, cutting the grass next to me. We were always doing stuff side by side, then the bicycles, and then motocross, and then I went into road racing and stuff like that. And he really wasn't into it, even though he would probably be a top contender. He really liked the cars, and
didn't scratch it.
so he started doing that, and then he sold his graduation present for a 240. I wasn't real happy about that.
What was the present?
So I had a 98 EK hatch.
Okay.
I got it. It was a GSR, and then my buddy had a turbo motor, so we decided to swap it. And then for graduation, he was like, "I'm just gonna refresh the whole car for you." Gave it a paint job, just clean the whole thing up.
So his graduation party, he had like a brand new car for all his boys.
Sick.
You know what I mean? And it was what he wanted. We had to do certain. He had things that had to be done to it.
I was young and dumb, but it was still a Civic. Still a Civic in the long run.
But then he sold it. And he got that car, and that's when he was about to go to college. I'm like, how are you supposed to drive a drift car to college? You know what I mean?
We make it work.
Spring strength all the way down.
I delivered pizza and a
college is
600
a
horsepower
scam,
Civic.
anyways.
Oh yeah. So and it was very, very flashy, as you can imagine.
Same stuff like it is with the cars now.
Yeah. So and then like I said, I didn't totally understand it from where we came from. And then I drove it around the building.
Yeah, that was it for you.
It was really amazing from like my background with bikes. A lot of the stuff literally transfers over as far as throttle control, angle, the inputs. You know what I mean? I had to transfer from the bike thought to car thought, but a lot of it is really parallel.
Yeah, because even on a bike, like if you're turning left, you're
It's a lot of
you're
momentum.
going right
You
on the
feel a lot
steering
of it.
technically.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different techniques, but as far as the car goes, you can feel when you're not moving like this, you know you're good.
True.
Because you're not, it's really smooth. So if you can just, a lot of feathering, people I think maybe are conceive this concept that it's just mashed and you're wrenching on everything. It is a dance.
Yeah.
It's fingertips on the steering wheel sliding through, a lot of sensitive throttle, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that's what I really enjoy from like the bike aspect. I go out, and when I first started drifting, he would yell at me because I would just go cut laps because I would just practice and practice.
Never cool down.
And then he would just yell, he's like, get off the track.
I'm saying there'd be boils, 2-inch boils. He's like, I don't understand why I can't get tires to last.
Yeah.
I'm
Because
like,
from road racing, it's
Well,
you try to perfect it. I work on something. I always tell people from YCRS Race School that I was a part of. Every time, track time is precious. When you go out, work on something, anything, lines,
take
braking,
advantage of it.
shifting. And then every time you're taking a little more bite out to hone your craft. And that's what I've been doing. And that's why I think I've been excelling so good is from the training I had from the bikes.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And so,
because he's still,
I always tell people just go find the limit.
yeah, because he's still fairly
it,
fresh to it. You know, it's what this is what your third year now.
third year.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he's
Yeah.
really like we were tandeming the first day. That's
That's sick.
it was pretty cool. I was like, oh, as long as you grasp the aspects, I was like, as long as you don't spin. I was like, I don't care. That's the one thing that drives me insane. Like people that are freshly learning, like, you overcook it or you push it too hard. If you just get someone in front of you that can lay down a solid line and just have that person, like I had him just follow me and just try and mimic what my car's doing.
Yeah,
and
stay back a little bit.
exactly. And then he did that. I think it was a couple laps, and then I was
And
like,
I had a little angle kit.
Yeah.
And just there was nothing crazy. You know, these people that I think overbuild their cars at first don't understand that they're already out of the envelope because they don't know how to do it with barely any angle. You know what I mean? So going from that, from my perspective, it was nice to learn how to do that because then if I got it correct, it was decent. And then I got an angle kit, and then that was normal.
yeah, he could overdo it.
I did the same thing. I started in a Z with no angle.
Yeah, 'cause
like
he
at
has
all.
that
Just
G- it's
bump
G37,
stops taken
yep.
out. Yeah,
And
I
now-
always tell people to do that too. Like start with as little as possible.
It helps,
It
and
helps
like
you learn how to drive the car.
exactly because
instead
like a
of-
lot of people then end up throwing a bunch of angle, but they go really slow.
Yeah.
You know, so it helped him a lot. And then, like I said, we were jamming first day. It was pretty cool. It was really, really cool.
Hell yeah. Even going into my FDF kit, like I had to almost relearn that.
That's what he
'Cause
went
it
to.
was so much angle. I
Yeah.
limited it. I was like, this is pointless. I don't need
Right.
this
Did you have
much.
to as well?
Yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
I'd say
Mine's limited a lot.
Yeah, I got-
Mine's set up not even for like drivability wise, but I'm trying to get it to fit under the factory fenders.
That's the
Nobody's
good
done
luck.
it yet.
Yeah, he had that. What did you have?
Yeah, it's hard, dude. I'm so close.
I got like a Liberty Walk because
Or Liberty Walk. That's what
I
he
was
wanted.
in my first DSL event. I just got my angle kit, and I pull up to the line, and Derek King was announcing, and they're like, "Oh, nice clean car," and Derek says, "It's a clean car. I don't like the way them wheels poke out." And then immediately I'm like, "Man, I can't have that." So I
Yup.
ended up getting a
Yup.
kit, and so trying to make my car look decent. But I don't have any background. Like
Right.
when they still talk about all the different cars, S14, all these different numbers. Most of the time, I don't have any idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm literally a driver, and I run what I bring. I bolt the stuff up, and I drive it. And some of my teammates, Joss Essie and a couple of other people, they took my car for a drive up at US Air, and they're like, "Can we drive your car?" And because I was having some problems, and like them driving my car, we get back, and they're like, "How do you even drive this thing?"
Yeah.
And I was
How'd
like,
you
"I
make it
don't
around
know.
turn
I just
one?"
know this is what I got, and this is what I'm trying to get done."
Yeah.
And they made some adjustments, and then now it's like it's butter. So I'm not hyper sensitive on every little thing. It can be really
Right.
smooth, and it's like it's planned out instead of reacting at that moment. you have a plan and you can understand where you're going, and time almost slows down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So I really like it. My learning curve is going through the roof, being around all these guys, driving with the level, you know what I mean? My bike career, I did really well, and but my learning curve was flat.
Yeah. And it's
Only
nice.
way for me to go faster, because of the coach and teach people how to go faster, is to let the brakes off at the apex. I'm 55. I'm leaving the brakes on.
Yeah.
I can sit in the car with the
And I can
on,
sit in
AC on.
I got my cage, and my girl gets to
Just
come with me all the
chill,
time. My wonderful wife. She, for years, we would go in an Astro van with a pop-up, and she'd sit in the asphalt parking lot and watch me go by at 150 miles an hour all day. So now it's another thing, like, you know, she got her name on the door, she got a little heart thing to hold on
more
to.
in it now.
Yeah,
she's
it's
more involved.
more
with it.
involved,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
So
that's, I like that part
Yeah,
too.
it is very
Bike
nice.
racing is really cool, but you can't take anybody to show you your craft or what you're doing. Unless you got like a video from the dash cam, which really doesn't show
Yeah,
anything.
you're watching. I mean, it's cool to watch. Don't get me wrong, but like the thing with drifting, is you can bring ride-alongs. You know, and
Exactly.
people just get to
Share the
experience
experience,
that. It's and that's one of my favorite parts about it.
I think it is,
Oh
too.
yeah, taking a first timer out, dude, is
Oh,
the best.
No Star Bash, I bet I had 4 or 5. And it's weird how sometimes, and I totally understand, because if you've never done it before, and especially if you're like first, second, third, and then initiate really hard, most people can't even grasp the what's about to happen.
Freaks them the fuck
Yeah,
out.
so I've seen people, you know, they lift their feet and move their hands all weird, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, what are they doing over there?
I
And
had
then
this dude-
by the time they get to the end of the lap, I'm like, how was that? And they're like, oh, that was aggressive at first. She goes, but as soon as we were in drift, it felt great. I can't believe how smooth.
Yeah.
And they want to know how we don't run into each other. It's amazing. How do you
true,
not
yeah,
run
yeah.
into them? You're so close. I'm like, well, that's the point.
Yeah.
I had this girl at Import Alliance that got in, and the first thing she said when she got in was like, I apologize, I'm a screamer. I was like, what the fuck?
Oh no.
All right, here we go. And as
I'll take
soon
it
as
easy
I
on
took
you.
off, like just going to grid, I hauled ass because we had like a straightaway
Yeah.
and there's people there, so I was like trying to show off a little bit.
Of course. Yeah,
And
of course.
I fucking booked it. And as soon as I hit the throttle, she screamed. I was like, we haven't even started.
Yeah. It spooks the hell out of you. You know, like, why are you screaming already? We're not even doing anything.
Well, especially
Right.
when they're like strapped into a car, because you feel every single thing. You know, if you ever done donuts in your mom's car with a seatbelt on, you're sliding all over the place. When you're strapped into a seat, you can really feel what the car's doing. You know what I mean?
absolutely.
And that was one of my favorite parts when I got in his seat for the first time. You know, and you're not moving; you're literally just controlling the car. You don't have to worry about sliding all over the
Yeah,
place.
it's like-
Not that I ever did
Even as a
donuts in my mom's
driver,
car.
dude, that's like one of the most important things
Yeah, well,
I
it's like,
tell
I mean,
people.
even building cars, first thing you want to do, definitely a bucket seat.
Yep,
what I mean?
bucket
Just to
seat
keep you from
harness.
getting thrown around. It's so. For a while when I had my 240, I didn't have one, and I didn't realize until I got it how much it hinders you.
Oh, yeah.
Because like when you're getting thrown and it's yanking the wheel, you know, you're overcorrecting with the wheel because it's pulling you back
Yeah,
and
you're
forth.
giving
You're
it-
sliding back and forth. So
Yeah.
Wrong
you
inputs.
get wrong inputs, correct.
True. And even getting a cheap bucket seat too.
Yeah,
I
like-
got one of those fake brides first, and even those, like after I went from that to like it's NRG, which still isn't
Yeah,
like
that's
an
what I have.
amazing one,
Yeah.
but you could feel the flex in those
Oh,
cheaper
yeah.
ones too. So
Yeah, you can
it's
put
still
when you're
not
pushing, you can feel the
Yeah,
flex back.
yeah,
of
it's-
course.
sketchy.
Oh yeah, oh, definitely. But especially when we're doing stuff like this, you don't have no flex.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, it
definitely
helps you
not here.
know what the car is doing. You can feel what the car is doing. It's
Mm-hmm.
hard to believe. It's seat of your pants, but it's a lot of the seat of the pants.
Well,
How
definitely
it's
a lot
doing.
of that plays into here. So I'm curious, like, what is your opinion on this stage compared to all the other ones that you have gone to?
So this one is very, very, very fast.
It looks like it on the videos.
Yeah.
really long.
It's really long. So the biggest thing is remembering where you're at.
Yeah. You said it was like 2 miles, right?
It's I think a mile and a half.
Yeah, it's really
like
long.
when we
Jesus
street drove the
Christ.
cars back here from the hotel this morning, when we're drifting it, like helmet on, stuff like that, it doesn't feel that long.
Yeah.
But like on the way here, it felt like it was forever. I was
Oh
like,
yeah, that
like,
road it feels
yeah,
long
like
as shit.
it was insane. So like this one, compared to the other ones, it's scarier, but it tames everybody down. It brings everybody to a normal
Yeah.
level. Now there's some guys that have a lot of horsepower, which tends to be a little easier here.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately for myself, I got like 260, 270, so I'm third gear, matted, handbrake, extension, just scared. So I'm on
absolutely.
that brink of. It's amazing time, but it could be a really bad time as well.
Yeah,
But you just got to dial that in, and just figure out finding your points, like I said, and remembering which corner you're in, because a lot of them look the same. When you're on these mountain roads, we don't have markers. You're trying to find your own markers. You're looking, but the
Looking
number
at
one
the
rule,
different flags, trying to figure it out.
But your number one rule is you want to look ahead. You don't want to be looking at the guardrail or like a marker, so you can get lost in the sauce.
Absolutely.
Well, especially with the trees and very little breeze, the smoke really doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah,
and there's some
smoke.
people rolling hard. For my road racing thing that I thought might help something like that, if you put a number in the corner, so when there's 30 corners, it helped maybe the guys remember.
Yeah, you were talking about this yesterday, too.
I was like, maybe it could help you remember, because I mean, I've rode with him many times on like in Beckley and wherever other place we were going.
Yeah.
You can kind of memorize it because it was a lot closer and you could drift the whole thing. Some of these things are spread out so far where they literally have to grip up, go to a straightaway, and then reinitiate, and then they're in the smoke. And I can see how you can get lost. I've been flagging for them on the mountain the last 2 days, and I'm standing next to the guardrail. Thank you, everybody, for letting me do that. It's really to be able to blessed to see that, to be standing next to the guardrail and the NOFA, coming by with my kids and a lot of teammates. It's really, really, really cool. So the whole that vibe, I think, is
it's a lot more grippier out there too.
Yes,
like they were talking about what was it, the graphite or something on the road?
Yeah, a lot of the.
I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, I don't know if this one had it, but I know the one we were just at in Kentucky. Where was that other one at? It was. Oh man, I can't remember the name of it. Either way, the last stage 4, it was really coarse asphalt and it had graphite in it. So even though it was like it could be wet, or you still have a shit ton of grip.
Yeah.
Like insane amount of grip. So like a lot of people don't even like to hear it, but like we have to air our tires up to insane pressures. Like I heard Denofa say he's at 125 psi.
That is absurd.
And like for me, I'm
it's
at
in an
80.
RTR car.
Yeah,
of course.
One of their test cars.
Yeah.
Before we get into the rest of that conversation, I wanted to drop in and let you guys know that the new Grassroots Hero hats are on the 144 Racing's website. Nice surf cap with the rope on the front. They're like a almost dry fit material, so they're really comfortable, especially wearing them all day at the track and stuff. So if you're interested, grab one of those off the website. Grab a shirt as well if you haven't already. And let me know, would you want to see these hats in black or even possibly blue? I'm really digging the blue one. I don't know about you, but I'm not gonna hold up any more of your time. If you want to grab some, they are on 144 Racing. Go check them out in the description. Other than that, let's get back to the podcast.
It's still just like most people, they come here with the intentions of having a grip car like at a track.
Yeah.
You can't have that here. You got to have a loose car because it hinders you more having a gripped up car in these courses.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was very obvious being on track. Like most people, everybody in the pits, they don't really see what's going on until there's videos and all that. So standing there watching the progression of everybody was really cool because it was immediate. They were super gripped up, and gripped up. I'm talking. I mean, it was gripped up, and I'm new, and I know what gripped up is now.
Oh yeah, dude. Even like I'm in a rental right now, in an Altima.
Hey,
it's great being in a rental, but I was boogieing up those roads getting here, and like even in that car, for one, I thought it was the car that was handling well, which really surprised me. I used to sell those things, and I hated the way they drove, but it would kind of squeal a little bit, and it would just grip right back up on these roads, which is insane to me.
It seems like the one guy, Eric Hubbard, he's one of the guys from Backroads at Appalachia, a big part of this, the ones that gets the roads, stuff like that.
Yeah.
He is the one that knows a lot about the roads, and I know he said this one, I don't know if it had graphite in it or something, but it's something about it, it makes it grippier. It's because they don't really get a bunch of snow necessarily here, but they get a lot of ice up on the mountains.
Oh, okay.
So it's something that they do for like it to melt, so it doesn't just freeze in the crack and make it a
probably
ice
more
sheet.
Rubber. In
I don't know exactly. I don't know exactly, but he said there was something it deals with something to do like in the wintertime, so like it doesn't freeze.
That's cool.
Yeah, for something for traction, but for drifting, it makes it really, really wild because you drive on a normal track and you have 30, 40 psi and it still feels pretty loose.
Yeah.
You come up here, you're at 80 and it feels even more grippy than at the track with 20 pounds.
Yeah, and then you have like no side bite.
Yes, that's the biggest thing with when you air up here. It's you got to stay on the throttle because if you let off, you just dead slide. And that's where you get scared because then you're 3 feet away. You got a 20-foot crater. Yes, we've seen it here. You can see that there's consequences for everything.
Yeah. What are some of the fatalities that have happened so far?
So it actually has been pretty
Been relaxed,
calm.
it seems.
Yeah, pretty calm.
More mechanical failures.
Yeah,
than
more
anything.
mechanical failures. Most of the cars, we had a couple go off, but nothing. No one was injured because the big thing here is safety. They
Yeah,
require-
the equipment is.
Yeah, you got to have all the safety equipment, and it does. Like, there's a reason why these guys get when they do wreck. Unfortunately, they can walk away. They jump out. They're smiling. I'm okay. You know what I mean? Cars are replaceable. People aren't.
Absolutely.
So that's where we always stand with it, and I agree. Like, even some tracks, like, you don't realize how much safety stuff can help you.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're just so accustomed to just like, street driving, like street drifting, stuff like that.
The bucket seat and harnesses for one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's just small things like that. It makes you feel more confident.
Yeah.
Of course.
yeah.
That's where it comes down for me.
Dude, I don't know if it's like just with age or whatever, but the heat shielding, like the flexible sticky stuff you can put on your trans tunnel and all that inside is like one of the best things I've done to my car.
Really?
It keeps so much heat out.
Oh, that's fair. I didn't even think of, like, for mine, it isn't too bad because, like, BMW, nothing's really tucked up.
Oh, yeah.
They're
I got a hole in my trans tunnel that I had
Oh,
to
that probably
cut.
doesn't
So,
help
you know.
either. Yeah, it probably doesn't help either. But yeah, mine doesn't get too hot. But I do have just like heat wrap around the exhaust, stuff like that. But a little 260 horsepower, it ain't making too much heat.
Fair enough.
I just turn on the air conditioning.
Yeah, he just runs with the air
Put the
conditioner.
windows up. I like having the windows up. Nobody knows it's me.
Yeah.
literally.
When I did the swap, I was like, should I put AC back in it?
He
I was
did-
like,
How much
I'm
horsepower
already
is it
dealing
gonna
with a
take
swap
away
that nobody
versus-
does.
Yeah, that's
How many
very
times
true.
you sat on grid, waving your door, sweating?
Yeah.
I'm
Oh,
in there
it's
going
miserable.
He does.
That's usually why I get off track. It's
Yeah,
just because I'm
overheating.
overheating.
Yeah.
The car is RB, so
Probably.
it overheats.
Yeah,
but
it's already overheating sitting there.
he was like, all right, we both need to chill out. So, yeah. Okay, so how many stages have you guys actually been to?
I've been to
Total.
stage one, stage two, and then I swapped my motor to the EcoBoost. That's what I was talking about. So I didn't, for stage three, it was literally the first event of the season for me. And I was like, I really don't want to test a motor swap on a mountain. You know, just if there's anything that could happen, like stupid things like my
Well,
car.
it was Beckley. It was a right.
It was Beckley
So
again.
we've already
so we did
done it one
yeah.
time. So
the second stage was Beckley, and then they went back again for the third stage. So I was like, to chance it, like I guess the course is probably that one was probably my favorite one. To be honest. Beckley was probably my favorite one.
as of yet.
Yeah, as of yet. Never know.
See what's to come.
Yeah, they say there's some big things coming. But so I won 1, 2, 4, and 5. So I've been to 4 of them. And like I said, every single one, it never lets you down. It's mind blowing.
Just keeps topping
it. It keeps topping every single time. Like,
what's like the difference from stage one to now? Like, what are some of the variables you've noticed?
Safety.
Yeah.
Organization.
First
Like
one
the
didn't
first
have
one.
cages and
well,
stuff.
yeah, like
It was like a prototype.
yeah,
almost.
it was a prototype.
Yeah.
They just threw us into the. It's like we went to war. They just threw us in. They're like, good luck, you know, and
Test subjects.
Yeah, exactly. Like we were test subjects, and like now, like the organization, like there's a lot more people involved. We didn't even have flaggers on the first one, so if someone went off, you're still
You had
coming
no
and cooking.
idea,
No idea. I mean, fortunately, there was no serious injuries or something like or anything like that. But in general, that like now you feel safe. You can trust everybody in front of you. There, it was just a bunch of guys thrown together. They didn't really hone their picks. Like they didn't pick specific people. They just brought people that they knew and that they think they could trust. But some of these people, they've agreed themselves to like, this is out of my league. You know, like,
Yeah.
this is something-
Especially somebody drives it at one event and it's the same track all the time and they're doing pretty decent and you throw them on a road that they just found out that day and try to make it. It's sometimes
Everyone
it's
I've
not
talked to
the ballpark.
that's done it is like you see the videos and you're like, I could probably do that.
Yeah, it's
you
not
get
that.
here and you're like, bro,
like I've
this is out of my league.
yeah, I've been driving for 13 years, and this stuff, it scares the living shit out of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like in the car, you would think it's worse, but standing next to the track, I'm like, whoa, everybody better slow down. But in the car, you know, you're trying to go. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So if you physically stand on the track, if some of the drivers could come stand where I'm standing, you'd be
That's
thinking
one thing,
differently
I never
about
thought
hitting that
we
turn
don't
like
get to
that.
see it from the
Yeah.
outside, because like it's probably better because it probably spook us.
I'm telling you,
True,
it was
yeah,
spooky.
yeah.
I was when I first went out, and Derek's like, "Okay, you can be here. This is gonna be a pretty cool section." Gave me a quick rundown. So I'm like, "Oh, I'm getting my phone out. I'm guardrails right here. First car come by, I was 15 foot away from that guardrail. I'm like, I'm in a dangerous spot. This car could chop this guardrail post right off.
Yeah.
And
And the
now
speed that we're coming through there is like,
is amazing.
so like, it's the funniest part is like, when we were coming down, I'm looking at the speed limits, just in general. It's like 35, and I'm like, we're entering at 60, 65 mile an hour.
Oh my God.
And top of third gear.
Into a blind corner.
Yeah, and then do a blind corner, and like, some of these cars, they're throwing so much smoke.
Yeah.
So it's like you're fighting not knowing the track, fighting the smoke, you know, fighting the sun blaring in your eyes.
Oh, and yesterday it was real spotty. It was wet
Yeah,
in the
it was
shade,
really wet.
which was, and then you had a ton of grip in the dry.
Yeah.
So you went from way too much grip to no grip.
Yes.
And they were usually in pretty bad areas where you'd want grip.
Yeah, where you'd want grip. It's like, it's all in like the hairpin. Like you come out of a corner of a tight hairpin, you just enter hairpin, and you go to extend, you'd be like into a sweeper, and then it'd be like water, and you just like start dead sliding. Like there was one time me and Josh were driving yesterday. It was like our third lap out, and we were like, oh, we're feeling it out, and I just went to flick in. And I was like, all right, good. And then I seen Josh, he started going a little wide towards the edge. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to start steering away, because I was like, maybe he's going to go off. I started steering to the right, and my car kept going to the left. And I'm like,
I see why you went.
yeah,
I see what's happening.
He's like, did you lose steering there too? I was like, completely, but you couldn't see it because it was on a gradual downhill. So like you're coming, it was kind of like it was right hand hairpin to a left hand sweeper. So it was gradual over a hill to a downhill. So as soon as you go to transition, you were on throttle, but then it'd start choking you up because you'd start pushing to the outside, and then you got to let off, and it would just dead slide, and then you'd try to steer out of it, and it didn't help you at all. It was definitely scary. It was definitely
sketchy.
Yeah, exactly.
It was.
But we're okay. We're okay now.
Well, you're like probably the lowest horsepower car out here, right?
I'm gonna say here, yeah, probably.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm gonna say that.
You think that's an advantage for you? How grippy it is out there?
No, because the thing is, I don't have no room for correction. Like once I start the drift, I have to stay on it, because especially I have cars behind
this
me.
cut track.
Yeah, I have cars behind me that are trying to keep up to speed too. So like I don't want to slow them down by trying to just like left foot brake to stay in drift. I'd rather go fast. I have to momentum drift. I can't power drift. So like a little bit more power would benefit me, because if I make a mistake now, the car just wants to grip up. So if I had a little bit more power, I can clutch out of it, dump it, and be able to...
especially in this scenario on the streets, like competition, it's more than
right,
enough, because you can win a competition with a low horsepower car. But this, when you're going up 9% grade out of the shade into something, and you just start slowing down. But if you can put the ponies down, it'll really
it's
big
like,
fat tire. You know,
I see like a lot of people here at this stage, 400 plus was like perfect.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know honestly anybody that has. There's a couple guys that I haven't met here. Actually, there's a couple new guys that I haven't got the pleasure of meeting yet. But it seems like everybody's ripping. But a lot of people have more power, which is fine. You know what I mean? Like whatever works. I personally want more now.
Well, we went to more. We went to more.
I want for more, because last year, or actually for the last 3 years, that car was stock. It's stock M3, stock S52. Maybe 200 horsepower, maybe. Maybe.
Falling out of a tree.
On a good day.
It had
a good cold day.
It had 280,000 miles on the thing. And I drove it for 4 years, drifted it, never really did anything to it. It was actually reliable. I was really, really impressed with it. And then Jake from Gem Sport came up to me, actually after the first Toge, because that's when I installed the stock motor. So it was really low horsepower, and that was a really fast course. So he came up to me and he's like, hey man, would you like to have some more horsepower? And I was like, well, of course, you know, like what's that all involved? And he goes, we have the EcoBoost going into an E36, our prototype car. Would you be interested? And I was like, I bet, you know, like whatever we got to do. I was like, I would love to be a part of this future, you know, because obviously everybody knows that these engines that we use to drift with are becoming hard to get and very expensive, or just really high mileage, you know. You can't trust. You don't know what you're getting.
Becoming old technology now.
And you don't know what you're getting. Like some of these people are like, oh yeah, it's an unopened SR, and then some of these guys get them and then they blow them up in 3 laps. You know.
I have an unknown mileage RB.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Like,
you never know what could happen. So with the with the platform that I got from them with the EcoBoost it was $600.
And you go to Vance and get something.
That's so cheap,
dude.
dude.
It had 72,000 miles on it. It came There's the long block, intake, turbo,
All the
gas
accessories?
pedal, all the accessories. Even came with the
Jesus.
the wiring harness. But I didn't use it because we went with Link. Yeah, it was $600, 72,000 miles, and they're everywhere. Like I was like, in general, if I couldn't, like here, we can't go to a parts store. But I was like, I bet you any money there's a Ford, one Ford over around here that has an
I'm
EcoBoost
surprised
in it.
O'Reilly's doesn't stock them by now.
Oh, well, they have. I mean, like for normal
Right.
parts, they do. But like when we're out here, I don't even know where's an O'Reilly's out here. We're in the middle of nowhere.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
you know.
Yeah,
So I was like, I bet you're in the parking
Good
lot.
point.
Someone has a little Ford Escape or something like that. I'd go if I needed a sensor.
Yeah.
You know, or a belt off of. You know, like go take it and.
Hey, there's multiple dealerships that are
Yeah.
right in the parking
Of
lot of my
course, of
hotel.
course.
Oh yeah, it's
And
true. I
there's
didn't
so
think
many
about
of
that.
them.
There's
They
so
got
many of
shops
them.
and stuff. I'm sure
Yeah.
they got something.
Yeah.
So it's really easy to get parts for it. And like I said, we're looking for the future. They're not 100% yet.
Yeah.
We're not saying it's the best engine in the world, but it's
So cool.
It's really cool, and it's something out there that we can look forward to in the future. It's still new into even the aftermarket. Like
Yeah.
there's people making stuff for them, but it's a lot of the front wheel drive game. They come from Focus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's a lot of guys still just innovating stuff. So we're in the first years of it. So give it 10 years. Those things might be potential for 500 plus. I mean, Josh has around 500, but we're still battling little things, trying to make sure it's 100%, you know. But like stock, they're great. So give it like 5 years, they might be the new SR. You know, that's what we keep claiming them
you
as.
never
Like,
know.
as a joke, you know, it's more of a running joke, picking on the SR kids, but it's just
always fun.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's just a little salt in the wound, you know, whatever. But
You got to be callous to
yeah,
hang out.
yeah,
with
we're just
drifters.
Right,
You gotta be
right,
callous.
right.
But we're just trying to give up something new for us in the future to have something to look forward to for engines, because they're all getting hard to get,
Like
Yeah.
you said, expensive.
expensive too.
Expensive.
Like SRs are what, six grand, something like that, something insane.
Yeah. Yeah. What other motors do you think would be an ideal setup that is fairly new?
So I've seen.
You don't
Yeah,
see very many people
there's
dabbling
there's
in
not
them.
really any
I'm
other
trying to
swaps.
predict what is
like the Ecotech, like the Chevy, I guess guys are trying to do.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't really know too much about that. One of my buddies actually races, he does autocross, and he has a Cobalt.
Yeah.
And his makes good power, but it's the supercharged version. I think he makes like 350.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the problem with a lot of newer engines, they're too tall. So they don't really
Gotcha.
fit in the engine bays. Because with a with a rear-wheel drive car, with your cross or,
Yeah.
subframe, a lot of people don't make oil pans for them, stuff like that. So I don't really know of any other engines that are coming like that we could use. I mean, obviously the notorious like LS. A lot of people still do LSs and stuff.
Yeah.
But like for newer
I'm
engines,
curious to see if that concept 4-cylinder LS.
oh,
will
I
end up
did
coming
see
out.
that. I did see that, and I can't remember.
know
Someone
who's
said that they were
doing
going to
that.
run it on something, but it wasn't. There was like no parts for it yet. Like there was the block was
Why
there.
don't you, there? So there is a block?
Yeah,
made?
there's a block. I
Okay.
seen it.
I knew it was a concept for a while, but I don't
Yeah,
know if
there was
they
a
ever
block,
made
but I
one.
didn't think they had like accessories and stuff for it. So like they
Gotcha.
couldn't make it really run. But I mean, the concept's there. It's just, in my opinion, it's still
It's in its infancy.
yeah, it's still going to be
Absolutely,
expensive.
yeah.
That's something that someone made.
Yeah.
So you
Machined
can
himself,
imagine the
designed
cost of
himself,
what
yeah.
that thing's going to be. To just the engine itself, like it's a billet motor.
Yeah,
you know?
and it uses just a normal LS head
Yeah.
too. So,
So
like,
I can imagine how much that block costs. It's like a Mazworks block. Like how that's what I think. But it's
dude, right?
that's what I think. It's really it's probably expensive. So I really don't for motors. That's why that's the reason why they did go with the EcoBoost. They did all the research, and that was one of the only ones. One of the only ones that made sense.
Yeah.
It's like that's all I can say with it. It made sense. They were there. They're plentiful, and parts were accessible.
Yeah.
So that's why we went with that, and why I think more people will be going to it. We've seen a couple people actually go with the EcoBoost as well. God damn it, Mike!
Doing a podcast.
Loud as shit.
Yeah, that thing's loud as hell.
Yeah.
What's that? One of them Hayes guys.
Yeah, those Hayes boys, man.
Stop it.
Shit. What were we saying?
About the motor.
Oh. When do you expect to be like in that?
Into
Have that setup?
what?
Is that gonna be like in your car? You were saying?
The EcoBoost?
Yeah.
It's in the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We did it. That's why I didn't go to the third one, because I did the motor swap.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I didn't want to try it out on the mountain because We were just dialing in like pulley setups and stuff like that because we actually utilizes a factory BMW power steering pump.
Okay.
So we were just trying to make sure it wasn't going to throw a belt. And last thing, if it throws a belt, my power steering belt going on the mountain, you got the power
Bad
steering.
day in
That's
hell
a bad
right
day.
there.
That's a bad day. I would hate to wreck the car over something so stupid as a $5 belt.
Right.
You know, so we were just dialing in little things. And so I've had it I did it at the beginning of this year, so I have probably 8 events on it. And it's been great.
Okay.
It's
Cool.
been a great engine.
You've had zero problems with the actual
Yeah,
engine.
the engine itself, it's perfect.
Yeah.
I've been just battling small things like
That's how mine is.
yeah, just trying to figure out
Bullshit
because
stuff.
putting in a different motor and a different chassis. Gearing is a huge thing. Trying to find because those motors are technically an eco motor, so they're not supposed to rev real high. Well, unless you build them. Mine's like I said, completely
True.
stock.
True.
So mine revs. Originally revved to 6,800, and with the 391 diff, like my wheel speed was super short. Like second gear, it would just as soon as I'd get into drift, it'd be like limiter. But then third,
Oh wow.
no power, you know. So we've played with a lot of just like raising the limiter, changing the gear ratio, stuff like that. And we got it to where it's at now. It's pretty comfortable. Like I said, but it just needs a little more horsepower. A little more horsepower.
Right,
They
right.
make crazy amounts of torque. Like, that thing makes 310 foot-pounds of torque.
No shit.
Yeah, out of a stock 4-cylinder.
Yeah, and it makes how many
That's
pounds
pretty
of boost?
nutty.
Like
At
2 grand.
22 pounds of boost.
Yeah.
Is the most I've seen at like 3,300 RPM.
It's just starting up.
22 pounds.
22 pounds, but it's on. So a lot of people don't know it's like it's the Volkswagen turbo. I think it's a KO6. I'm pretty sure.
okay.
So it's very small, but that's the only problem that we're having now. Is it with that small of a turbo, you're making so much heat,
Yeah.
and it's just heating up everything because you're maxing it out at 3,000 RPM and then revving it to 7 for. Like here, 2 miles. I'm on, you know, screaming on it. So I really don't. That's the other thing. We're just trying to keep it cool. Which I think, my opinion, would make it easier. Is just getting a little bigger turbo.
Yeah.
So I'm not maxing it out immediately.
What turbo you think would be the best setup for that?
There's a couple like Josh. He runs. I think it's like a 2060. It's a little bigger than like a T28. That's what I would want to go for. I was personally like trying to stay on the cheap end of it because like we're still, like I said, figuring out the motor. So I'm not going to throw a bunch of money into things. Like obviously it could potentially hurt it. You know, like it's not going to really hurt the numbers, but might not get the full potential of it. Yeah. But I was thinking like just running like a Pulsar, one of the new Pulsar. I hear great things about those. So I was just going to try and.
I've heard some good things about those Mamba turbos too.
I haven't heard about those.
Yeah, some I think it was John McCreary or something.
Okay.
Was recommending a Mamba turbo setup. It like came a full kit, lines and everything to bolt onto the RV, but I ended up going Garrett.
Yeah, so like the
through and
Pulsar,
through.
like the one that we were talking about, it was like $600-700.
That's not bad.
And then, but it was compared to like a Garrett that was like $2,000, $2,200. So I'm like, for that amount of money, I'm willing to test it. You know what I mean? To try it out, because I was like, I'd hate to spend that $2,200 on that turbo, and then I don't like how it feels in the car. You know, and like the other thing about these motors is they're head-folds. They don't have a manifold. It's a single port like a K-series.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing with these that we're trying to figure out is it's flow restriction.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't want to like a bigger turbo might actually hurt it. You know, like if I go too big, because then it won't have enough exhaust flow to spool the turbo. You know,
it's crazy.
So it's, like I said, it's all a learning
Weird
experience
shit.
right now. You don't know, like you don't think of that stuff until you're trying it. You know,
not at all.
you're like, I'll throw a bigger turbo on it, but then. Like Jake, he was like, but it's only a 2-inch port coming out of there. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not a really big port coming out the head, so it restricts a lot of the flow. So if you put a giant turbo on it, it's gonna really not want to spool at all. You know. So we're like I said, I think a hair bigger, so it brings the power band up a little higher. Because like I said, I'm at max boost at like 3,300 RPM. So it would be nice to like maybe creep it up a little bit. You know, just so like my power band is more gradual instead of it's like a punch and then it just levels out. Yeah. So it'd be nice to have just a nice steady arc, you know. Well, like I said, we're going to give it a shot hopefully this winter. It's one of the only goals.
To see how that turns out.
Yeah, I just want to put just a little bigger turbo on it. And the other thing is because most people hate the way they sound. I'm not going to say they're the way they sound.
Right.
They're not. They sound like a fart. They do. They can sound like a fart. But I feel like a lot of it is because it's turbo. Like, you don't hear turbo noise. You don't have external wastegates. You don't hear that barking underneath the hood, you know. So it's all coming out the turbo, even the wastegate. So it could hinder it, you know. So there's a couple things we have up and up in there to try
Yeah.
and figure out. But
Well, good.
it's only a matter of time until we figure it out completely.
It'll get there.
Yeah,
You got
sooner or
it.
later,
You got this
sooner.
far.
Yeah, exactly. I
Shit.
mean, like I said, for the most part, there's a couple other guys that have already been doing it as well, you know, and they seem to be happy with it.
You've been able to feed off of them a little bit?
So we're pretty much Denofa was the first one, I think, that we knew that had it. And then, like I said, my buddy at Gem Sport, they put one in E36, and then mine was the third one
Yeah.
technically ever done. So we don't really have anybody to talk to about them. And like, because these guys that they tune them and stuff like that, they tune it for a different type of racing.
True.
Like
true.
drifting,
Yeah.
it puts a different load on the car. You know, like the revving's different. You're blipping the throttle differently. You know, there's a lot of different things happening compared to like other guys that have built these motors. So it's all very new. It's all very new. Like even my tuner, like the first one they did, they put it immediately on E85. Mine is on 93. So like he's like, I never got to play with these parameters to see what this car can actually do.
Oh,
So
okay,
it's
yeah.
all learning, you know, and he takes feedback from Denofa, like, because Denofa was giving him telling him things about his car and stuff like that. So we were just trying to hone that in, like taking everybody's inputs that have driven them.
Right.
You know, because that's the only thing that makes these things better. And like, because even Jake, like, he's put a lot of money and effort into engineering this, but he doesn't drive.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he relies on us to tell him what do we need to do to correct these, you know, issues or
without the
to make it
feedback,
better.
he has nowhere to go.
Feedback is everything. You know, even he tells me, he's like, even if you don't like something, tell me.
Yeah.
You know,
You need the information.
Yeah, you need the information. If you don't like it, tell me you don't like it. You know, but I was like, honestly, I do like it compared to, like a lot of people don't realize it's 200 pounds lighter than the stock motor in a BMW, and it moves it back like I think it's like 4 inches. So the center of gravity, it made it so much snappier. You know, so it's a whole new car. I'm learning a whole new car as well. You know, so
It looks the same, but it's completely
Oh, I
different.
feel you, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
The VQ is not, it's like half the length of an RB, it
Yeah.
seems. And then the RB's oil pan is, you can't put the motor far enough back, so it sits further over the front rack, too. So,
actually,
like,
your
it's a
weight
whole,
distribution it's kind of messed up. So that's the one thing that actually helps with the E36 with the EcoBoost. It actually helps the weight.
Yeah.
So it makes them way snappier. Because like unfortunately, like with that car, like I said, I originally came from an S chassis. I drifted an S chassis for the first 5 years, and then these things were popping up back then. They're like $500 for a stock E36, but it was right when they were getting popular. So every time I go to find like a 328, I'd see it pop up on Facebook Marketplace. It'd be like 15 minutes ago.
Gone.
I messaged the guy, he's sold. I'm like, God. So I found an M3. And mine's a 99 M3, a real M3, for $2,500. And the guy didn't even know, like, he's an air-cooled guy. He's like, my buddies made me buy it to get a drift car. He's like, they are all into drifting.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm getting older. I'm never going to drive this thing, man. I was like, I'll take it, you know. And so we took it, and I put like a 391 diff in it. The head gasket ended up being blown. Normal BMW stuff.
Sounds about right.
Put a thermostat in it, head gasket, and it ripped. Like I said, I just wanted to weld a diff and have fun with my friends. And then it, you know, conspired, and I like kind of liked it. You know, I not that like I like it. Like the driving compared to an S chassis, they are way different. They feel completely different. Yeah. But I like them because
almost in a better way.
Yeah, it's different. I like being able to drive different vehicles. Yeah. I knew I could drive an S chassis. I wanted to be like, all right, can I hone my craft in with a BMW? Because that's one thing I hinder myself with is I don't put myself in other cars. I try and just dial in my own self, which is good. Don't get me wrong, but like I like to compare myself to how I feel in my car against someone else's car. True. It shows me like maybe I made a mistake with the way I'm setting up my car. I was like, oh, maybe I like that a little
Even
bit.
just like having someone else drive your car.
Exactly. Yeah. Having someone else drive your car. That's like he was saying, you know, having a teammate drive your car. It helps you so much that you really don't know what's wrong until someone else maybe helps you, you know.
Yeah.
You don't know everything.
Yeah, we don't know
sure.
everything. We're all still learning, you know. Like when I first started drifting, we had no idea what the hell we were doing. I was talking to you about it last night. We'd go pick up tires at a dealership. There were half scrubs at the back of it, and we'd go out. It'd be 15 of us, stock 240s. No idea what the hell we were doing. Just out there looked like spin outs. You know, we were doing takeovers, what it looked like, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I will say you probably had a little bit more knowledge than some people that are out here. I know for me, Yeah, like I didn't grow up in cars. I didn't
Yes.
have family members in cars.
Yeah, he got like, so we started racing motocross. He got me in the dirt bikes when I was 2, 3.
Yep.
No shit, that early?
Yeah, I could ride a dirt bike before I rode a bicycle.
Yeah, I was throwing a baseball.
Yeah.
We were in the backyard on a PW50 hucking a big double,
Yeah.
no helmet,
That'd be
shorts.
fucking
It would, I'd be in
sick.
jail right
Did I
now.
show you the picture of it yesterday?
No, but Dan's wife told me to ask about it.
Yeah, yeah,
on the
I'll show it
podcast.
to you. Yeah,
It's-
Send it to me so we can.
Yeah, we can put it in
so
the
we
video.
on
Yeah,
there.
don't judge me.
Yeah, don't.
Don't judge
Yeah,
me.
it's
I
pretty much-
guarantee someone's gonna do something.
No, it's a
Child
It's the
endangerment.
internet.
It's the internet, you know. But I was like, you posted it nowadays. Oh yeah, he'd be in trouble. He'd be in trouble. We're both no helmet on a PW50. He's trying to teach me to spot a landing.
Like well, once
So-
you get up there, you can see. Once you leave the ground, your trajectory, you're gonna land in the same spot every time. So, in the picture, you can see him over there.
I'm looking over to him. He's on it. He's in shorts. Were you in shoes? Did you even have?
I had to have shoes.
I was saying, yeah. We both didn't have shirts on. We're both in shorts. We're both on a PW50, and we're like, it's probably a 15-foot tabletop.
It's pretty high. It was around the pool. We'd go around the pool, and then there was a pile of dirt from doing some construction. And when I had the bulldozer, it had this lip on it. So, I mean, I don't know how fast you go on a PW when an adult and a little kid.
You'll see in the picture. We're 5 foot off the ground.
In the mountains, it's probably 10 foot high. So it looks like we're jumping really high, but you'll see.
Yeah, you'll see.
Yeah.
Comment
We're looking at it
below
right
Yeah,
now.
let us know how you feel about that one.
how we got from
that's so
drifting
funny,
to child
dude.
endangerment. I don't know.
right. Well, besides that, like, what has it been like having? Because I know we talked about it a little bit. Just being able to have you here and experience all this stuff together.
Me being here with
Yeah.
this, I mean, I think it's awesome. We hear a lot about it from other people. They're just like, "Oh, my old man's on a home
sure people
farting
come up
and
all
doing
the
this," and I was like, "But this is all we've ever done."
Yeah.
I'm blessed, obviously, to have doing stuff with my son. But even if this wasn't happening, we'd still be doing this.
Something.
Yeah,
We'd
something
still
with
be doing
motors.
this.
Yeah,
exactly.
something, yeah.
And with this whole drifting thing, I needed to get some surgery, and I couldn't ride my bike anymore. I mean, I could ride, but I couldn't be competitive or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I started going to events with him. Actually, my first couple of drift events, we went on Father's Day.
Yeah, it was Father's
because
Day.
I was always at the racetrack
That's
and
so
he
cool.
went
Yeah.
drifting. So we started going together, and then it was every year we'd go drifting. And
Yeah.
then I had, I couldn't walk, and
Yeah, you
so,
said both of us
but I
separate
could, I could drive a car.
Let's talk about that. So the bike stuff first.
Yeah.
Before, or I guess you can finish that real quick.
Yeah.
if you
Go
want.
ahead. What do you want to?
Okay. Well, what type of, I guess, racing did you do specifically?
Okay, so I only technically raced a couple times.
Okay.
But we started out doing track days at an organization called NESBA, Northeastern Sport Bike Association, and they would rent the track, and then you could go out and ride the track. They had 3 different classes, ABC, A being the fastest, C being the thing, blah, blah, blah. And then so I came from motocross, and I was a little older than you now. I was 30-something, and my friend wanted to take me to the road race course, and I'm like, I like hitting big triples and big jumps. How am I going to like this? And then I went to my first track day, and then it mentally gave me the same satisfaction as motocross, but it was nowhere near as I don't want to say dangerous, because on the motocross side, it's the abrupt stop. Road racing, especially with the technology now, 90% of the time, unless somebody runs into you oddly, you tuck the front wheel and you slide, and then the track's designed for that. So you usually slide off into the grass or a little gravel pit, you get up because you're completely covered in leathers.
True.
And you walk over your bike, you pick it up, and then you're like, turn the key off,
Dude,
turn off.
I'm telling you, from like just watching videos of it and stuff, shit looks gnarly. Like,
Yeah.
like
What, the
what
road
bikes
racing?
are you on?
I'm on a new R1. It's ridiculous. I
How
came
much
from.
horsepower?
I didn't know.
I think it's just under 200 horsepower to the wheel.
I mean, still, that's insane on a
And
bike.
I came from a GSXR 750, and so that had no electronics whatsoever, and it was like an 07. So as the new technology came out in 15 and 16, these bikes came out, and to hang with them, I really had to extend myself. And then, and the technology, but I didn't want to spend the money. And my wife's pretty much the one that says, hey, we don't need you all wadded up. Why don't you get something with this little bit of these electronics Because I was complaining about it. I was like, I got to really ride over my head to stay with my buddies, and they would just laugh at me because they knew I was suffering back then. So I ended up getting the new bike, and the technology off the showroom floor, like technically, my bike is off the showroom floor.
Just has
I changed the plastic. I took the factory stuff off, put race plastic on it. I have a slip-on. There's a bench tune to unleash some more of it, and I changed the springs in it, and I changed the oil. And I probably got, about 9,000 track miles, not idling up and down.
Wow.
Logging on it pretty hard.
You only had like 300 miles on it.
I think I put 200 miles. I'm terrified to ride on the road.
Yeah, he won't.
I will not ride on the road.
Yeah,
There's just too many. Like if you want to come out here out in the cut and ride with your friends, the people riding around in the cities and just flying. I've had some friends that got really hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and it's not worth it to me.
In jail or
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and I feel bad. Like if you see these accidents, God forbid somebody runs into a lady with some kids in a minivan because you know you ride one of these new bikes at 20% on the road, you're a lunatic.
They're fast.
Because they're so fast. It'll go almost 100 in first gear in like under 2 seconds.
Yeah, 100 mile an hour in first gear.
Yeah, and it's got wheelie control, so the computer,
like
if you get on it, there's 2 gyroscopes on it, and it knows where you're at in the universe, no matter what the bike's doing. So the front wheel will come up so far, and you just stay on the gas, and the computer will take care of everything. Yeah. You want to upshift, you just touch the shifter. There's a sensor in the shifter. It knows you touch it. It's a full throttle, clutchless upshift. You turn the gas and just touch it. At 200, and you start getting the freight train. And then the exact opposite, when you come, you got full ABS. So when you get on the brakes, it's reading your brake pressure, and then as you go to downshift, it's got an auto blip. So when you touch the shifter the other way, it automatically revs the engine, matches the gear. So if you're going, say, Daytona, back straightaway, 6th gear wide open, you roll off the gas, you apply the brakes, you downshift, it's like bing, 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 back, and it's like smooth glass. I don't know if you've ever been in a car where you're trying to match gears, blip.
Yep.
All that goes away, so you can focus on,
especially when you're leaning over and like your foot, you're leaning that way, you can't really touch the shifter.
That's why we use GP shift. I don't know why all bikes aren't GP shift, because the only time you downshift, like on a regular bike, you downshift by pushing down, but you upshift going this way. But if you're cranked over in a corner, you can't get your foot under the shifter, so you just have to touch it down.
Yes, they flip the shifter. So upshift is downshift technically.
So when you go on a straight, you just touch it down, and the only time you downshift, you're actually lifting up on a lever. 90% of the time, the bike's vertical
when you're going.
So you can downshift.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it makes it so much easier. Like that's one of the first things when we were coaching for N2. That's the organization I went to after that, and then they blessed me with sending me to YCRS Race School. Anybody that wants to ride a motorcycle on the track, on the street, go to these guys. They will teach. They taught me so much. I was pretty decent, but I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah. And you need the information. You can't. There's some people that are blessed to just be able to haul the mail, but most of us, you need some training to be able to apply what the bikes. There's designers designed the bike a certain way to be ridden a certain way. Yes. You know what I mean? So that's what you have to learn how to do it. You know what I mean? So if you come from that background, you can succeed really well. And like I said, with this new technology, it felt like a cheater bike. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It is a cheater bike.
I had a hard problem. At first, my biggest problem was it would start to wheelie, I would let off, but the bike was trying to let off. So I was fighting. They're like, just trust it. And then at first, I would be looking at the dash out of the corner of my eye, and as soon as I saw that yellow light blink, I would just go wide open, and then the computer takes over.
Dude,
you know what I mean? Cool. And it was like, as far as like putting the power to the ground, there's a couple places like where you get on the track, where I try to cut the same exact lap in the same area at the same point every time. And I think that's why I do such a good lead run in the cars, because I'm super hyper focused on being in the same place. There's only one fast line. Yeah. No matter where at. So if you can get on that, it's just a lot easier. It's just way easier to be confident and not know what's going to happen. Everything's so planned so far ahead that it slows down. It slows down, you know what I mean? Yeah. Usually people have problems because it's an abrupt input, not paying attention. But like I was saying with the YCRF, if you're ever going to learn to ride, go watch these guys' video, go to their schools, it taught me so much. It taught me so much is that when you're riding, you know when you're doing it wrong.
Yeah, literally.
You know, you're like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And that's what made me go so much better, because then you have the information, and then you start fine tuning it. So that's where I came from that. And then obviously I had congenital hip dysplasia, and I could ride, but I couldn't ride to my potential.
Yeah, so I've heard that like the reason you kind of stopped all of that was one too many accidents, or was it?
No, it's a birth defect. This is my mother's fault.
Oh,
yeah. Me and my twin were big, and my mom was real small. So when we were born, I don't know if have you guys ever heard of the 60s? That's when I was born.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I was like, wait, is that a TV show or something?
I guess they should have swaddled us or something, or they wrap you up. So my hips didn't form correctly. So and it's like, German Shepherds, they get hip dysplasia and they can't walk. That's what I had as a human.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So and then it progressively got worse and worse and worse. And for the work I did, it was really aggressive, and to the point where I'd crawl. I couldn't walk.
Oh my God.
So it was terrible. And then, but I could drive a car.
Yeah. So that's why
when I was in the seat and it could hold me, and then I'm hanging out with my son more, which I dug the stuff, but I couldn't do it because I was doing the bike thing. So I don't want to say the bike thing's over by any means, but I'm really enjoying myself now. Because like when he was a little boy, I always told him, be around who you want to be like. You want to smoke cigarettes, stand in the corner, that's who you need to be. If you want to be a force to be reckoned with in whatever you want to do, be around the best. And then you put yourself
in a position.
Show me your friends, I'll show you your
to
future.
succeed. You know what I mean? And that's why one thing I think with this whole Drift Appalachia is it's so grassroots that I told him, I think one of the main priorities, seeing where this is headed, this is a priority.
Yeah.
The Drift Indy Lakes is super cool and all that, but this, I imagine like in 10 years, this is gonna be through the roof, and like he's gonna be one of the OGs. Yeah. Oh, they used to go, remember when they used to go to Kentucky on these crazy roads?
Literally telling Reese this last night in his podcast. I was like, what's gonna happen the day like Cash is 30 years from now has a kid and he's telling like,
that's what I can't wait.
I was an OG of this.
Yeah,
like
I can't wait.
Fucking wild.
It's really wild, and that's why I said this is the position. God, I hope it works out great. But if you're here from the beginning, we get to watch the ride the whole way through.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, instead of saying, "Oh man, you got to go check out this organization. It's cool. You got to see the stuff they do."
Yeah.
Or if you get to at least. I'm not a part of it, but I'm right up against the window watching the whole thing, and it's cool to be there.
Well,
and then,
and the thing that's nice is a lot of the people that are involved with it.
True.
With this?
Yeah.
Well, at first he would, I don't know who's who. I don't know. And I'd be walking, I'd come over and Vince's like, you know who you were just talking to? I go, I don't know. We were talking about his kid's bicycle or something. He's like, oh, this is some guy from Australia or something.
He's talking to Jason.
Jason.
I'm like, I don't know that
He's
guy.
talking to him, and I was like, oh, you're talking to Tracy, because I don't know who that is.
I don't know. That's just
He talks funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, as you can see, we're all pretty personal. You can just talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And since I think I don't know who anybody is, I don't have any of that, oh man, I better not say anything to this dude. You know what I mean? I'd be like, yo, what's up? And I don't have any idea who they are. And then you just end up having a normal conversation. Because I think when people meet, I don't want to say celebrities or people that are known, you tend to act different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But if you just act yourself and natural, it seems to make everybody.
They're normal people.
Yeah. Normal people. Normal we're crazy.
Yeah.
We're all crazy.
I guess we're
you know, we all have the same, the love I do as far as if it has a steering wheel and a throttle or handlebars, I'm down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been really turned off with sports lately. The whole.
Yeah, we've never been.
I grew up playing sports. I played baseball from 4 years old till
when it costs
senior year of high school.
When it costs $500 to take a family of 3 to a football game.
Go melt,
you know what I mean? We can go drifting all day.
Or 4 to 6 set of tires, depending on who you get.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
money way better spent elsewhere.
Well spent.
Right. And I mean, don't get me wrong. I like everybody's going for their team and a camaraderie and everybody getting together.
I don't understand it.
No, I mean I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them.
Yeah, they can enjoy it because
they can enjoy it.
And enjoy this stuff.
They'd
be coming and trapping.
It's mind-boggling to me that a grown man can sit there watching a TV of a field of grown men tackling each other and be hyped about it.
Like they care about him.
Like
they care about that guy that's watching the TV.
Yeah, that guy.
You've never met him.
Yeah, you're never gonna see that guy unless he doesn't give a crap about you either. You know.
Stupid. Oh. All right. Shit, where was I? What were we talking about last?
We started about
we
how I
rambled
get
off.
into bikes and then into the cars. Did we go through all that?
Yeah.
Well, when are you going to jump on the mountain?
Oh.
Whenever I'm asked. Right now, I'm dad and I'm hanging out with everybody. Oh, and that's like we were talking about who you meet and who you know. I didn't know anybody, so I just start talking to people, and then they're king, and here they're the dudes that run the joint, but I didn't have any idea.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you can't
Best
force
way to meet
yourself into
people,
somebody's
honestly.
zone, because most people don't like people stepping in, stay in your lane type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
Especially
you-
places like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can't ask to be here. You ask to be here,
Yeah.
they're gonna call you out. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Well,
they're
if you
gonna say-
ask, you better have a damn good reason.
Yeah, exactly. Like well, that's the number one thing they say about it. Even it's on their website. Just drive. We'll come to you.
Yeah.
They have
They
their
can
eyes.
see what's
they
going
know who's
on.
doing good. This is
Dude, that puts such a good, like, pedestal
Yeah.
for the event, too.
exactly. It's like
Yeah.
there's no one like you get invited when you deserve to be invited.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's not like everybody thinks it's a clicky thing or
Yeah.
you have to do this to be here. It's like no, anybody can come. You just gotta prove yourself. You know what I mean? Like just do what you normally do. Go.
And it's
to your-
really
go to
changed
your
as we
tracks.
get into the more stages. Because at first, like I said, it was like a prototype event. Let's just see how this works.
And it just-
and then you get to the second one, and it's pretty banging. And then all the media starts going out, and they're like, people are like, "What's this? I've been doing some drifting in a skid pad for 3 years. How do I get to do this?
You want to be on the mountain?
I want to
Yeah.
be on the mountain."
Yeah,
And
it's
like,
like-
you said, everybody they see it and they're like, "Oh, I can do this." No.
There's a
Yeah.
lot like
No, no, no.
there's guys here. I mean that are
Pro
that-
level.
Yeah, pro level, and it's still scared the hell out of you. You know what I mean? And
It's really, really intense. Like I
love
tell a
it.
lot of people
I love it.
from the bike end, when I pulled out on Daytona for the first time, I was nervous, but I knew my skill level and I was going to be safe, and I was around a bunch of safe people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That we can all handle ourselves, know what we're doing. The first time down the mountain in Beckley, we get through the cones, and I was like, we lived.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe we
fucking did it.
lived. You know what I mean? And I've done some pretty crazy stuff. And then the level it's just so through the roof.
It was like Red Bull level stuff.
Yeah, so like,
driving, truthfully.
obviously, the reason I love this so much is like, I grew like for drifting. There was a lot of circle tracks, a lot of skid pads, but I always tend to love road courses, fast
Oh, it's
road
way better.
courses. And we were lucky enough to have a track called Panthera. I don't know if you ever heard of that in West Virginia.
I've heard of
Training
it.
Oilsfield,
facility.
West Virginia. I think it's Oilfield or
And,
something.
yeah, it's a military training complex, and it is probably one of the best road courses. And the elevation in it is insane. Like you enter third, fourth gear at 80 mile an hour,
No guardrail, no
guardrails,
curbing, no nothing.
And that kind of it honed me in for this type of driving because there it's pretty much a
Gotcha.
road, but it's a course.
Yeah.
And you could just cut laps there. So like that's what brought me. As soon as I heard about this, I'm like, this is it. You know what I mean? This
You gotta
is
come to NSS, dude.
Yeah.
If they have to run the correct layout. They've been kind of babies about it recently, but Nashville Super Speedway, dude, it's the screaming girl, the ride along.
Yeah.
Yeah. The straightaway to get to grid is the genuine layout straightaway. It's going down basically pit row, just hauling ass
Yeah.
into a 100-mile-per-hour plus sweeper.
See,
I
like
mean,
that's the
it's
thing.
insane.
Like for me personally, like the grid lights and stuff like that, like they're just too fast. Like
It is ungodly
it's
fast.
just like
yeah.
I feel like it's cool.
And none of it flows right.
Yeah, and like you get like two corners. You're going freaking 1,000,000 mile an hour. Like trust me, it's cool. But like I like this or like something like
You go to grid life for the extra.
exactly. Like
Yeah.
this is about even these are still about hanging out and having fun. But like
This is for drivers.
the
though, dude.
drivers, it's about driving. You test yourself.
Yeah.
You put
I compare it to get people's mindset. I was like, I imagine like those dudes. Remember seeing the videos back in the day where a dude's in a helicopter and he drops on top of a mountain. He puts his skis and he just looks around.
Yeah.
Where can
Yep.
I go do this? And it kind of reminds me like, oh, can you make this happen? And just the way the flows going down the mountain, it's just so amazing. And then everybody, nobody knows where this is at till the day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Here,
dude, that's
there's
a
no
really
splash,
cool
there's
aspect.
Yeah, we
There's
have
no
idea, clue.
nothing.
Yeah.
No
We all
clue.
saw it in Fast and Furious and
Yeah,
all
exactly.
these TV
It's
shows,
like-
them doing it.
It literally feels like the old movies, or like old video games, right? Where it's like You get a text message that says, boop, boop, show up here at this time.
Yeah.
We'll give you the itinerary midnight before the event. And it's like, so we don't even have any idea what the road looks like.
Yeah.
So
it's almost like a
or
nostalgic
where to
feeling
get the
that we
hotel.
never
We don't know
got.
yeah, exactly. Like there's a lot of different aspects to it that make it fun. But at the same time, you're like, it keeps you know, it keeps you on your toes.
We wouldn't have
You
had our
never know what you're
hotel a
gonna
half
get.
hour away.
Yeah, that's
Because
it,
we'd have known where it was.
Yeah,
True.
You know what I
that's-
mean? And I assume they're doing that to keep people from just showing up and standing on the
'cause
mountain. Like
on-
there was only like 10 of us
Yeah.
on the whole mountain all
'Cause-
day to physically get to watch it.
Stage one, there was locals. Now these guys, locals hear
Yeah.
about it, and these guys were climbing like rock faces, sitting up on top of these
UTVs
mountains.
full of people
UTVs, they were
coming
just
through the woods.
flooding places, and we're like, you can't do that, you know, because like obviously we want people to be able to see it.
Yeah.
But it takes one kid that doesn't know any better that these cars are coming on the mountain to walk across the road.
Yeah.
Or like you never know what could happen, unfortunately.
They're sitting there all day
They're
drinking
just as
beers.
engaged.
You know what I mean?
And if you want more explanation on the spectation stuff, go watch Reese's episode.
Yep.
Yes, there you
By
go.
the way,
Perfect.
yeah.
But yeah, so it's just really, like I said, something special, and like these
feels personal.
yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It does.
It's
Yeah.
definitely personal. You know, it's you and your buddies going down this road nobody even knows about, sending it. I'm talking sending it. You
Yeah,
know,
it's a confidence. This thing's huge about like your confidence. It really shows your true colors and how confident you are in yourself and in
Yeah.
your car. Because there's a lot of people that are like, yeah, I could do that. I rip it, and like you see them here. Then we all have to come back in. Like after the first, I think it was the first session yesterday. Everybody went out, and everybody's like, I think 5 cars stayed out.
Straight-faced
Yeah,
coming
well,
in.
that's the first thing. We were all on the mountain. First car comes by, and then everybody's drifting. There's 25, 30 cars. So I'm like, yeah, let's go. And then they come back up to the mountain, and they go to pits. Then 5 cars come by. And I'm like, what's going on?
that was
You could tell
underwhelming.
everybody was really gripped up. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Everybody thinks they need a grip, and you need less grip. Yeah. And then it would change. And then it was kind of spotty yesterday, especially down where I was. But and as of today,
It's
it's
really
it's
good.
lunchtime. It's
Everybody's getting
pretty
confident today. I'll tell you
Yeah.
that. It's
you
looking
can-
spicy
Instead
out
of
there.
like before where I was, it was like right past initiation. Now they're clutch kicking
Yeah.
where I'm at.
Yeah, that's
a
that's
couple
one
people
thing.
almost blew my hat off.
Once you start hearing the clutch kicks, you
Oh,
know
it's-
people are
that's-
confident.
I mean,
Downhill,
Yeah, you got to be committed.
big
That's-
horsepower.
You kind of have to here though, because like you're extending at some points. So you got like to extend your transition. You know, you're like trying to just clutch kick to get the car to snap faster.
Yep.
Because if you like just try and slow transition, you either end up 2 nose in. You know, so there's a lot of technique that comes into this type of driving too. A lot of people don't realize that.
And remember, we're on a skinny road that's not made
Yeah,
for this.
it's not very wide.
No,
It's not very wide, and-
I think this. It's probably the skinniest one. I think this is the
It
skinniest.
looks like it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
especially
and, you know, as
from
fast as
my
you go, the
perspective.
skinnier it gets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Jesus. How many tires are y'all going through per lap? Like, how many laps
Actually,
you getting out
the
of
thing
it?
that's nice about the toge is usually I only go through like a set or 2 throughout the whole event. For some reason, that's really good on
Because we're
tires.
not out there
Bro.
cutting
Yeah,
laps.
because you ought to think of
Especially
it.
with the PSI you're at, too.
Yes.
You would think you'd be roasting through
Well,
it.
I mean, like I said, at 80, you're kind of just skipping across the tire.
True.
Yeah, it's not like you're digging out of a hairpin.
Yeah, 'cause that's a
left
lot
foot
of the
brake.
time-
That's
you're not-
another selling point on the against grid life thing.
Yes,
'Cause
like you're
2 laps out there and you're
Tires
toast
are
on a
done.
pair.
That's
Yeah.
like for here. So, like I got all day yesterday and today, and I'm still at the wear bars in my first set, like right above my wear bars. And I'll probably make it throughout the rest of the day on them, but
What tires are you running?
I have Kendos on the car right now.
Okay.
There's the KR20, the Venzas. They're really nice, but like for like this, so like my problem with my car is like the horsepower problem.
Yep.
So brand new Kendos, it's hard as hell to get them to spin.
And
Like,
only
it
they're
feels
300
weird.
too.
Yeah,
They're
the
300
tread
tread
wears.
wear. So.
I always hear they don't have the best grip. So
I never had a problem with them. Like I mean, for my
I never
powers,
did when I was VQ.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest fan of them now.
Yeah,
especially driving on Bolinos.
Yeah,
dude. The
Bolinos,
Evisus
that's
are
different. Yes, exactly.
God.
They're grip boys. But like I get a lot of life out of them. A lot of the thing is like people say it's the side roll on them, so they roll over and it kills.
yeah.
I do like on bank tracks. I will kill a edge of a Kenda really fucking
Yeah.
fast. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Oh, on a bank?
Yeah, on a
oh,
bank,
for
like it'll
sure.
chew the edge of a tire up completely. But they like for this, we're not looking for like we said, we're not looking for grip. We're looking for longevity for a tire. for here. So it's like you're not looking for a big grippy tire. You just want something that's going to last you as much as you can and be consistent.
Yeah.
I mean, cool for media. Smoke roll looks bomb, but as a driver, you would rather drive longer and.
No,
I don't see the smoke because it's behind me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. Well, just for reference, at like Kill Care, how many laps are you usually getting out of a pair?
So I'm about a set a day at Kill Care.
Okay.
So
That's
about
not
laps, Kill Care, you can get so many laps. I think
On my GoPro, I had 87 videos and I didn't tape them all, and I went through 2 sets.
Holy shit.
yeah. So it's like
I have water
That's
sprayers though
insane.
too,
Yeah, so it
which caused
depends
the
on-
whole problem. I don't know if you were No Star Bash.
Yeah.
I have a tank that I put in my trunk, and then I have a button between my seats that has an old RV pump, for like the showers. I turn that on, and it goes and it tees out, and I have hoses going right to my tires. I took a piece of copper and I smashed it flat like a thing, and I hit the bump
really well,
and
actually, for him.
Yeah.
it sprays on the tires. As soon as I
So
flip
perfect.
it, I spray the tires to cool them down to get longevity out of them.
Yeah.
But when we're rolling back
considered
to
doing
grid
that.
and I'm going real slow, I got the sprayer on. I got that big wide tires and the kit's sticking out. Water's flying up,
Off the
and
tire.
they've come up banging on my car. You're dumping fuel everywhere.
like all the spectators,
the
throwing car was
spectators
dumping
were-
fuel. They were freaking.
They're running
out.
over,
I'm like,
banging
it's
on my
water.
car.
I swear it's
I was
water.
like, just water. They're
It's
like,
just
because they're panicking. I was like, I swear it's just water. Because he,
and you
well,
can see why they would do it. You know
You
what I
would
mean?
smell it.
Yeah, well, remember,
Yeah.
he has his windows up, music blasting.
Oh,
No
true,
one
yeah.
can get a hold of his ass if they wanted to. They're sitting there yelling.
I'm busy.
He's sitting there, la-di-da, and like I see them, they're all running, and I can see that they're like panicking, and they're pointing at him, and I'm like, and I heard someone say, he's dumping something, and I look out the window, I was like, it's just water. And
Oh,
they're
that's
like,
right, because you were in
man,
front of
don't
me. You
even
were in
look.
front of me, and I
Just
see you
water.
yelling
Yeah.
something. I'm like, what's he yelling?
Yeah.
And then they're banging on my car. You're
It's
dumping
window.
fuel. I'm like, it's water.
Yeah, and they're just
Like, everybody
Sunday
reeled in.
Sunday cruise.
And you know why? I mean, if it, God forbid, it was gasoline, but in general, you see why they did it. But it seemed to be. I guess I'm the only one that had that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it
So-
helps his
Yeah.
car, because his car, it's so heavy, the G37.
Yeah.
So, like,
Well,
we've-
Josh fixed all that angle in the back, so my tire wears a little bit better. But I'm-
yeah, its car's really heavy. So like, Ken does stuff like that with a big grippy tire. It just gets it so hot. So
and I have a problem with this guy right here.
He kills it. He kills tires so quick. So we actually just stepped him down like an Iron Man. So he gets the longevity of them. But his car, like those things are actually really grippy, like mechanically grip.
Yeah.
Up like that.
Oh,
G
yeah.
is really grippy. So like with the Ken done stuff like on there, the car was just too divey. Like anytime he would like trying to chase, like he tried to transition, and the car
Fall.
would
Yeah.
chase right in front of me to like try and pass me. So we tried out just the higher tread wear tire, and it seemed to help out a lot because then it doesn't smoke through the tires. You can keep it's not making as much heat, stuff like that. So,
Yeah, get more long so I can practice more.
yeah,
you know
because
what I
he
mean?
was just killing tires. Like, yeah, I've never seen a man kill a set of Kendas in like 5 minutes.
Those
Yeah,
G's are
I
good
did that.
cars, man.
Yeah, so yours is the 37 at the S or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
His car makes good power, man. Like,
Yeah.
It's got the big brakes and it runs really good.
I mean,
Oh, yeah,
we
the
haven't
S
done
model. It's got
anything
the
to it.
Brembos and
Yeah,
shit.
we haven't. Yeah, it does.
Well, I
have
did
it.
that that
Oil gallery.
oil gallery thing.
Because it
that
would
leaks
have
in-
the oil temps would get real high and we put it in the limp mode.
Yes.
There's a
yeah,
gasket
I know what you're
behind
talking
the
about.
timing chain cover. It's like it'd blow the gasket out. So
No
when I would
shit.
hot lap, as soon as I let off, the oil pressure would go down. It would put it in the limp mode. Rup, rup, rup,
Yeah.
rup, rup,
Oh. Made me so mad.
And I'd have no idea. I still didn't know nothing. I just wanted to drive.
Because he would not let the car cool down. I was like, if you give it 5 minutes.
Give it a minute.
Somebody used to go,
He's like,
when-
the temps
no,
are good.
we need
The
better
temps are good.
fans.
I'm like, you can't see the oil temps, Dad.
and that's one of the
That
big
oil's
things with that car. I
5,000
did the
My oil temp sensor's broke on mine right now.
well, I did the reservoir with the
Intercooler.
Yeah, the intercooler with the thermostat on it. So and then obviously did that thing, but I haven't had any problems with
Yeah,
it
ever
yet.
since
you did
But like I'm from where I can go on the track on the bikes, I can
cut
go
laps.
half hour just
Can't do that
hyper
in
focused to
drift
it, and that's where I really learn. A drift car, apparently you can't do that unless you got money
car
for
ain't gonna like
tires.
you.
Dude, I don't know how your body can do it.
I get exhausted after 5 laps. You know what I mean?
Dude,
Like,
I'm doing 3. And I'm like, all right,
well, it all
hold
depends on the way
I
you're
need
driving.
water
Too. Yeah, it
now.
depends on how you're driving too. Like if you're just out there, if you're doing solo laps, yeah, I could probably do like 15, 20 laps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you're trying to get like some crazy tandems or something like that, I'm mentally exhausted. You know what I mean? I'm tired after 5 laps. I'm like,
Yeah,
I need a
that
break.
does take a lot
Especially
out
stuff
of
like
you.
no sir bash, very rarely are you with the same person, so you're doing a lot of judgment stuff immediately. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Hell yeah. All right, well, I'm going to jump into the last few questions.
Yeah.
We covered quite a bit.
Yeah.
I do want to ask before those, though, what's it like tandeming as father and son?
It's like the coolest thing in the world, to be honest with you. So the best part, like I remember, and I'm sure he's gonna say something about it, is every time I like to chase close. I like to chase very, very close. But the one time I got really close to his car and he wasn't expecting it, and he got out of the car. He goes, "You hit my car. You're still my son." I'll whoop your
I'ma beat
ass.
you.
Yeah. It's like, don't touch my car. So, you know, he's still got the dad mode in him. You know, so but it's still really, really cool. Like, well, most people don't realize it's in that car. Like, because like it's just natural, you know. And I guess since he's learned from me a lot, it's like driving myself in a way. So I could trust him, you know what I mean?
That's so cool.
I forget it's my father sometimes, you know. It's just like you're driving with one of your boys. It doesn't matter who it is, you know. But the best part is you get to go home and your family gets to see it. They get to see like what you're doing, but no one really understands it, you know.
Yeah.
like neither one of us could do this without each other almost.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without me helping him and him helping me,
It's a
we
lot.
would never be as far as we are.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so there's a lot that goes into it, you know, because we obviously when he started, then we got to get a bigger trailer, you know, and we got the
True.
2-car trailer.
Yeah.
And then I have a bigger truck, so I pull that, and he pulls the camper. So, but it's
We're
not-
100 foot long going down the road.
Yeah.
But so we could go to a drift event. So
The driving, it's cool because you can tell someone something, like tell him something, and it's not like they're gonna get butthurt. Like, you know, like sometimes you criticize someone, like you see someone driving, you try and give them a tip, or you want to give them something that might benefit their driving. They don't take it to heart or anything like that. Like when I'm talking to my old man about it, he really wants to know.
well,
And
I think it's coming from me teaching with the bikes. You have to know
Constructive
information.
criticism.
So they pretty much train me. I know what I wanted the car to do. I just didn't know what lever to pull or
yeah.
how to.
So I
have
get in
it.
the car and I just go,
Yeah.
I go, floor it,
Yeah.
clutch, and I go like this.
I got
Feather.
Yeah, and
Handbrake.
then it was raining the one day, and there was like water on the clutch. He's like, clutch in, and I don't clutch, and then it spins around.
Yeah.
He's like looking at me,
Yeah.
I told you, clutch in.
Yeah, because there was a water run across the track, and you know if you're on the gas and you go across the water, it's gonna want to spin. So like a little tip trick, I was like, just push the clutch in for a second.
Yeah.
And I
So it's
followed.
Dude, just
I
even when
followed
you
for-
spin out, I
Yeah.
couldn't understand that concept to push the clutch in so the car doesn't stall.
Yeah, exactly. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're got a welded diff back there, and it's
Yeah,
it's trying to stop.
It's not gonna move right.
Yeah, exactly.
no.
But it's always a great time when we get to drive together. Like we've driven so many. And the other thing I think about too, it's not even just driving with them; it's the places we get to go.
Yeah.
You know, we get to travel all these places, and I get to drive with my old man. You know,
Yeah,
so it's
so
like
cool.
we
And
get
it's
to
cool.
experience new places together, and we get like it's making memories. So like a lot of people, they make memories. Going to a party with their dad or having,
Which is great.
cookout, cookout or something like that or whatever. But I get to go do something I loved for a long time and get to enjoy it with him, and he
Makes
gets
it
to
10 times better.
Yeah, it makes it 10 times
Yeah,
better.
of course. And then, like going back to where like them teaching me how to do, I really didn't have any bad habits.
Yeah.
So I could tell me what to do, and which my background from the bikes and all that.
You
I
already
learned what
somewhat had the knowledge
Yeah,
of how
well, as
mechanics
far as-
work in a car.
Yeah,
on my
physics.
chase, I got to
So,
work
like,
on
yeah.
my chase, but I'm really good at running the same exact lap every time. I can't remember the kid that runs the drone here, but he said like at Kill Care the last time. He goes,
Echo?
I love
Echo. Yeah, I think
Oh
it's
yeah. He goes, I love following you. He goes, you do the same exact lap.
He is. He's very consistent.
time."
Yeah. And
So
lead
I
very
know
consistent.
you don't get a good follow unless there's a good lead. So I hyper focus on that, especially when I'm out front. And then I know that my boy and the rest of my team can stack on the door.
Yeah, on
Yeah.
him.
You know what I mean? So if one of them are out front, the picture ain't gonna look as good.
Wide
So
and
right
smooth,
now, we
wide
got-
and smooth, baby.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
you got to play to your strengths. You know,
Yeah.
that's how you
Yeah,
strengths.
yeah. That's
we
awesome.
put him behind us, or he goes in front of us, and He got a bunch of maniacs behind him.
And I just focus on what I'm
focus on
doing. I
himself.
don't
He
pay
doesn't have to worry
attention to
about
them
it.
whatsoever because they know that I'm going to do. I try to do the same exact every single
Yeah.
time. You know what I mean?
That's
and then
good.
if I can get it, and like they'll be like, you need to up on the wall, handbrake a little bit, try to extend that.
'cause
You know
like
what I mean?
like
And then
Yeah.
I do
tell
it,
someone.
and then we all start getting like this, and then like this, and the next thing you know, it's a.
That's the best. I mean, and the best thing too is like he started driving and he would just hang out with us, stuff like that, with Bobby's crew, and then we are all talking, and then we're like, why don't we just bring him on the team too?
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
what
it's
I
for
mean?
BMI.
Yeah. Well, no.
That's so
it's-
cool.
You're like your car has to be blue.
Yeah, we told him. We didn't let him know he was like on the team yet, but we're like, hey, you could be a fill-in for BMI because it's usually 3 drivers per team, and we had 2 teams, but we need a backup just in case someone's car broke through practice or something just for the competition. So we're like, oh, just come, but he didn't know what the plan was at first. And then we're like, and then he started driving his car blue, and we're like, do you want to be on the team too? And then he's like, oh yeah,
Sure,
you know, I mean, let's go. And then
Yeah,
he put a livery on his car, you know, and now it's a group effort. Like it's the best thing to
So
be able to
sick, dude.
like I said, it's not even just hang out with your father. It's like still with the boys, with the rest of the team. He's
Yeah.
just a part of it. You know what I
It's a
mean?
group now.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
group
That's all it
effort.
is.
It's hard to yell him at a kid. He's still my little boy, but he'll look right at me and tell me I'm wrong. Now.
Exactly. I get
Shut up,
to
Dad.
do the teaching now, like with
Yeah.
motocross stuff like that. He taught me.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
the roles are reversed. You
That's
know,
it.
I'm
I
the
get
dad.
this. I'll say something. No, Dad.
Like,
No.
damn, that's how it felt.
Yeah,
didn't it?
exactly.
I was like, why?
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll get the last 3. Do them for each of y'all.
Yeah.
So, if you had unlimited budget to spend at Injuku to build your dream drift car, what car would it be, and what parts are you getting?
S15.
Reese said the same thing
S15,
yesterday.
man. S15. I've always wanted an S15. Like,
32 sedan.
yeah. I mean, 32 sedans are sick, and 34 sedans are sick.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be a sedan. I'm not a or like GTRs. I'm not. I think they're cool. I
Yeah,
like 4
the
doors.
sedans are
yeah,
better.
exactly. But S15. I don't know why they just hit home, but. Everything in Juku sells.
Yeah.
To be
The
honest
most
with you.
expensive thing,
Yeah,
everything.
exactly. Anything that would get me like 400 horsepower, I'd be with it.
Well, you got plenty of gears to
Yeah, I'll
choose
say that.
from.
Don't they sell?
So you're gonna keep it SR?
Oh, of course. I'd
Okay.
have to. I mean, that's terrible.
If you got all the money, remember you
yeah,
said all
the
the
money.
money.
Yeah, yeah.
You said you had all the
exactly.
money.
So
Cool.
I
Money's
did
no
that.
object.
What you got?
Well, I don't know. Half the
You don't
words he
know?
was just saying, I don't
Yeah.
even know what he said. But my first car was a 70 Camaro split bumper, an old muscle
they do
car.
LS stuff.
And you know,
Don't
you
they
see
do LS
Haley
stuff?
up here
Yeah.
with his old, was that Cornet, right?
Yeah. Oh wait, you talking about Kylie's?
Kylie's.
It's
It's a big old boat.
Satellite.
Mm.
Satellite.
Yeah, I sound like that's what it is. And that kind of stuff. But if I don't know any of the Japanese stuff, honestly, I'd like to.
I'd say
My wife's Cadillac
Oh, there you go.
her station wagon.
That'd be kind of cool.
I really dig the car. I like the way it looks.
Is it a CTS wagon?
CTS wagon.
CTS wagon.
Yeah.
It's we put some cool wheels
They
on it, some
look cool.
kids
They are
on it.
sick.
It's like
Yeah.
Well,
it's
just
just-
wagons. Anything a wagon.
yeah. Actually,
Absolutely.
for years, my van, since it's a 12 passenger, it's considered a station wagon. I had a Subaru. Say all my vehicles were station wagons.
Fuck yeah.
You know what I mean? You can put the kids in the back and some stuff, and you know, I
just
I
get 'em
really
the
like the
E36
way it
wagon.
looks.
Yeah. Well,
And it's different. Like maybe because maybe I don't know the background from all the Fast and Furious and what cars were cool
Yeah.
from like Vance growing up.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me what I do, I know what I'd like to see come by. It'd be something I've never seen before.
Yeah. True.
You know what I mean?
True.
I can't tell the difference from the car. Like Vance would be like, oh, this is this style, this is this style, but it's the same
Yeah.
car. I don't. I'm
He
too
don't
green.
know.
I don't
Boy,
know.
I hate that I have a Z.
Yeah.
Fucking sucks.
Yeah, but I think for you, I think your Camaro, like an LS swap, would be
Just something
That'd be a
different.
cool
like,
idea. Yeah.
like you said, a 71 Camaro with an LS swap. That'd be
Yeah.
pretty
Remember,
cool
we're
for him.
talking. There's the
Yeah.
money's on endless. You know what I mean? You see what's
But you
that
gotta
one
get the
dude
parts
put-
through in Juku, so
What's that?
the parts gotta be through in Juku.
Of course.
They got Chevy parts.
I don't care.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said. LS. it.
They'll
We're
make
good.
something. If we
Yeah,
got all
yeah,
the money
we're
in the world,
good.
I'll
All the
pay 'em to
LS
build
swap
it.
kits.
Yeah.
We can makeshift one.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, I got all the money in the world, and why don't you build this Cadillac for me?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? And let's try something different this time.
There you go.
Get the old men back in the group.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, what would your best piece of advice be to anyone just getting into drifting?
Keep it simple, stupid.
KISS method, baby.
Yep, that's what I
Strikes
always
again.
say. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Enjoy it. Don't make it a job. That's what a lot of people, I think, now that are getting into drifting, they see all the big stuff like they want to be part of Drift Appalachia. It doesn't do anything for you. Trying to spend all that money or trying to make yourself known. Just do it. Have fun. Your time will come. People will notice you. People will want to drive with you. Just be confident in yourself and drive.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's the big thing. Keep it simple and go to your local events on the skid pad. You got to learn somewhere. Try to go somewhere. I always tell people the skid pad is kind of good when they're cones, especially when you're new, because you don't have to worry about running into anything. And you can slowly work on your craft. Start small and then go bigger as you needed it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I was, well, just because of the way I got the car when I bought it. But as we start adding, you know what it does. And then as you add stuff, it's more of a little bit of quill in your hat, a little more okay, I got this in my back pocket, I can use this. And then you start taking small bites, and then all cumulatively ends up
all a
in
tool.
something.
It's all exactly.
It's all
And that's
a tool.
one thing. Another thing is remember, yes, we all love our cars, but when you're drifting, it's a tool.
Yeah.
Yes, we love them, but you got to remember it's a tool.
The
You
You got to
experience
break
is
some
what
eggs
we
and make it
actually
all.
You got to use it.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
enjoy it when you're. Let's see. I think you got to enjoy it, and I mean you can take it seriously,
Yeah,
but
of
don't
course.
beat yourself. I've seen a lot of people, they get really upset, and you
Yes.
know what I mean, because they see other people doing this. Man, just concentrate on yourself. Hone your skills. Find somebody. If you don't know somebody, I'm sure you could ask somebody. People, take me. Can I ride? Can you take me for a ride? Can you ride in my car?
Yeah.
I learned so much. One of the biggest hurdles I made, besides going with Vance, is all with Josh, and he was in my car, and I didn't know when to initiate. He literally sat in her and go, initiate. And all of a sudden I'm like this, bang on the door, and he'd go, initiate. and I literally
Do it.
And then by the end
Smacking
of the
him.
day, I was on Vance's door, and I was like,
sick.
you're gonna have to ride in the
It was
car with me
sick,
from
man.
now on.
Because I always I give it to him. I'm like, I want it back a little bit. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
want to see a front. I want to see a hood or something like that.
So I would don't be afraid to ask people.
Don't be afraid
and
to ask
a lot of
questions. It's a
people,
really good one.
and I tell people, there's no such thing as a dumb question, because if no one says it, that doesn't mean you know it. You know what I mean? So that's another thing. And most drifters,
You're pretty
so
personable.
you can ask anybody anything. Someone come up and they need a tool, or do you have any of this, or whatever. Everybody's willing to try to help you out, because if everybody works together, the whole thing goes up cumulatively.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not a like a lot of this stuff's not a competition. Unless you're in competition, don't treat it like a competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
Just enjoy
Have
it.
fun.
Even in competition, don't.
Yeah, just enjoy
Yeah.
it. Just enjoy it.
Still
We're here.
be
We're having
friends.
fun. This is supposed to be fun. If you make it a job, it's not
Yeah.
fun.
Once we're in the cars lined up next to each other, all right, I
Life's
can,
good.
I can see
Life's
it.
good.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Absolutely. All right, well, this was a little deeper, but if you had the opportunity to speak to the entire world, what would your one message be?
About drifting, or just in general?
Just in general.
I don't.
Be
Slow down.
nice.
Yes. Be nice.
Be nice.
Be nice. Be
and slow
kind.
down.
It's not
Slow
that
down.
hard.
Stop
It's not
rushing
that
through
hard,
life.
really. If everybody could just be a little nicer, and I think there's a lot of stuff being pushed now where everybody's forced to be nicer.
Yeah.
You know, in a way. So, but I think if
Nonsense.
pay it forward.
Yeah.
Pay it forward. Yes,
That's
very nice.
you know what I mean. There might be somebody, one little word that you say or a dollar you gave somebody, could, maybe that was the point that they needed, so they can go to another direction in their life and be better or
Yeah.
something. You know what I
See, a
mean?
lot of people
Unless
Don't
they're
judge.
your friend,
Yes.
bully them a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah,
Make 'em do
support your
better.
buddy.
Yeah, that's I think about another thing with that too a little bit is you think about people like us that come to these events, we get jaded to the situation.
Yeah.
We forget that there's other people looking at you.
Yeah.
That you
There's
you
people that
have an
would kill to be
It becomes
here.
the norm.
It's that you
Too
become
easy.
the norm. So
Yeah, there's probably some very reputable people that would kill to be where we at right this
So
second.
Oh,
be
yeah.
nice. Be nice.
Be nice.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
Perfect. I love it. All right, well, if you want, plug yourself or anyone you want to shout
Yeah.
out or anything like that.
Like I said, Bobby's crew, obviously, the team, they hold it down. They invited me and the old man in and took us in. And,
Love you guys.
yeah, it's awesome time getting to hang
Jeffrey,
out.
don't forget Jeffrey.
Obviously, Gordon Automotive Specialties always keeps my car together. Gem Sport for the EcoBoost, and Yeah.
The family. Our family.
Family, man.
We wouldn't do this without our family, to be honest with you.
My beautiful girlfriend.
Logan's over there,
Yeah, she's
our number one fan.
watching.
My wife's at home.
Yeah.
She's been watching the whole episode.
Yeah, she's watching the whole episode.
Don't worry, she's going to watch
It's
it.
hard not to look at her. It's hard not to look at her. I'm just trying to keep looking over this way.
So yeah, I like having it with the family atmosphere. I grew up with. My mom was like, I think it's one of 12 or 11 or something. My dad was a bunch. So the immediate family tree, there was 100 and some people, and that's like we all just hung out. Your cousins were your best friends, and it was like a whole family. Like we go to my parents every Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and we've all. It's just a big thing, and I think a lot of people unfortunately don't get to have that. Yeah. And we're blessed by that. I think from my parents trickling down into me, I try to trickle it into him, and then
that's good.
Oh, another big thanks. Thank you, Drift Appalachia.
Oh, Drift Appalachia.
Yes.
You guys are awesome.
Drift Appalachia, Drift Indy.
Yeah, Drift Indy,
all you guys.
Drift, all you guys. Obviously, this wouldn't be here without you guys. So.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting me come do these episodes.
Yeah,
too.
this is
really
well, you're going to be coming.
Look at this view too.
Yeah, like
insane.
We're around the lake.
You're going to be doing more next year, right? This is. We're the first of the
Hopefully, we've got some stuff in the works where I can like maybe come to all the Appalachias and do just interviews with all the guys.
That would be really cool. That'd be really cool.
It would help. I would assume everybody.
Yeah.
In the situation, you know what I mean. Get the more word out there, the more people want to do it, the more people will come together and buy some merch and then buy
tag
some
Drift
shirts
Appalachia if you want to see that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate it. For one, taking the time out of the day.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate it.
Hopefully, we're not too late after lunch.
No, I'm not worried about it. I got 3 hours of hard drive I'm about to go through.
I gotta go stand next to the guardrail.
Well, I gotta get in the car, damn it.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta experience this.
Yeah.
But
I get to stand next to the guardrail and eat some rubber.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
It's really, really cool. I'm sorry, everybody, but it's really cool.
Hell yeah. All right, well, go follow them. I will leave all their stuff in the description as well. And then, of course, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. If you need parts, of course, hit up Injuku. All those links are in the description. But, again, really appreciate you guys.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
watching.
to everyone watching. None of this would be possible without you guys. So. I will see you each and every Sunday for a brand new episode. Thanks. Peace.
Stacking way up to the ceiling. Trust no bitch, can't catch no feelings. I've been taking long flights from the Bay to Ibiza. Hit home runs, I'm a ball like Jeter. I just want 4, then I leave her. I'm a young pop star, call the boy Justin Bieber. Got a little money if you want.